Hey guys! Welcome to my channel, Cosplay, and today I have a new tutorial video for you. And it is about how I made Fishbones. Isn't he cute? Because it was a little bit too much to show in one video, I separated the tutorial into two videos. So this video, the first one, is about how to make the base for Fishbones using Eva foam and cardboard. So keep watching! If you want to learn more about working with Worbla, then be sure to check out my book and also my ebooks and my digital patterns. I start by printing out the pattern that you can download from my website. I will link it down below. And I put the pieces together with some tape, and then on the edges where the printer didn't print, I draw the lines with a marker. And then you can either cut it out with scissors or use a knife, whatever you prefer. Now you have your pattern. But if you need like the little pieces to make little detail patterns, you can just put some paper on top of the big pattern and trace it. You will need this to make all the different shapes to form the prop. And never forget to mark your patterns, because if you have so many you will not know anymore where to put all the little pieces. To make the base shape for the prop, I decided to use a cardboard tube. And to get the right thickness, I decided to use some Eva foam to cover the tube. To get a straight line, I use a metal ruler as a guide for cutting. While foam is actually a quite soft material, if you want to wrap it around a shape like a tube, it's really nice to heat it up a little bit so it will get softer. Then I'm using contact cement to glue it to the tube. Contact cement is great for foam. You have to apply it to both parts that you want to adhere together and apply it evenly. Here I'm spreading it out over the foam. And then I also need to apply it on the tube. And again, spread it evenly. Then the glue needs to dry a little bit. It takes a few minutes, depends a little bit on the temperature of the room and the season. And then when both parts are a little bit tacky and not so wet anymore, you can put it together. Now I only glued a little bit, because I still had to hold it with my hands. And then I added the glue on the other part and wrapped the whole tube. I pressed it close carefully so it would make a good bond with the glue. Well, the base for the prop wasn't thick enough yet, so I took another piece of foam and added another layer to make it thicker. The color of the foam is different, but it's the same material, so it really doesn't matter. And it will get covered in Worbla later anyways. Then I also glued a piece on the end to close the tube. I wanted Fishbone's head to be detachable, so I made a bigger piece that I could push over the base. Then I added more layers of foam using the contact cement again, to really create the shape of the base of the bazooka. Again, this is a different color foam, but it's all just the same material, so it doesn't matter. I'm just using what I have in my workshop. And more layers, because you can never have enough foam layers, right? And more layers. As you can see, this glue is super strong. I'm actually using the glue from Mink contact glue, but you can also use different brands if you can't get this in your country. You can also get contact glue in hardware stores, like Bison for example, and I know in America they use a glue called Barge, which is about the same. So as long as it is contact cement, you should be fine. I wanted the thicker edges to be a little bit rounded. So first I carved them a little bit with my knife to get the base idea for the shape. I also drew some lines on it so I would know where to cut approximately. And now it was time to make some of the details that I needed to attach to the prop later. This is the handle, for example, that would rest on my shoulder. It needed to be rather thick, so I cut a few layers of the shape out of foam and I glued them together. This is the attachment for the handle, and again, I just made the shape out of more layers of foam. To add more details, I added more foam, until I was happy with the shape. Then connected the connectors. And this is the trigger for inside the handle. Also made of layers of foam, like we're used to right now. And the fin, because Fishbones is a shark. I think he's a shark, right? Also made of layers. Ta-da! And Fishbones also has some cool armor pieces on it. It looks like he has armor pieces. And I made the patterns for this and I traced them onto craft foam. Craft foam is thinner foam. It's about 2 millimeters thick and it's perfect for these shapes. So after I drew them on, I cut them out with a knife. With craft foam you can also use scissors because it's rather thin. But I was using the knife already and I had my cutting board on the table, so I just used my knife. For the edges on the armor pieces, I cut it out of Eva foam and I carved the edges a little bit. Then, to add the raised details to the pieces, I first lay them on and trace the edges with a ballpoint. I need to do this because I need to know where I should put the glue. So then I used the contact cement again and I put it on both sides. I'm using a squeeze bottle to put the contact glue in because it makes it really easy to apply it and also makes it dry out less fast, because otherwise you have the can open. Of course, I put it on the other side as well and spread out the glue. Then if it's tacky, you can feel it, it doesn't really stick anymore. Then you can put the two pieces together. They will stick very, very well, so you have to put them on the right spot immediately. Otherwise you can't do it again. This is the part for Fishbone's face. I wanted it to light up, so I'm actually going to add some plastic that the light can shine through. This is actually a bottle of a deodorant. bottle. Yeah, recycle is the way to go. Also for cosplay. So this is the base for his face. Then I start to actually make his face. I cut the shapes that I drew on my pattern out of foam, 5mm foam, and I carve some slits in it so I can bend it. And on the outside it looks really nice, like a sharp edge. I also cut the foam at an angle, so if I put the two pieces of the head together, it will create an angle. I'm gluing all the edges together, like you see here, for all the pieces of the head. This will make it really look good, and the shape will really look like the reference with the edges. Again, I'm using the contact cement to glue all the pieces for the head together. I'm really careful to glue it on the right spot, so the head will look the best. Then I'm making some little patterns for little pieces that I need to make it more stable. So I'm just putting some painter's tape on the foam, draw on a shape, and then take it off and put it on some paper. Then I cut out these shapes, and I can use it on foam to create some little extra shapes. And here I'm gluing them to the inside of the head, so the head will stay in shape. These are to give some extra stability. And this is the lower jaw, also needs a little triangle in it. Look, Fishbones' face. Fishbones has quite some scales on his tail. And to make them, I first draw my patterns and then cut the pieces out of foam. I cut them at an angle on the top and then glue them together. I also mark some lines on the top so I can glue it really straight. I can also use my table as a guide, so the glue line will be extra straight. Gluing and gluing. Just keep on gluing. Be sure to open your window because the fumes of the glue are they are there. Of course, these also needed some raised details, so I drew on where I wanted them and added some glue. By now you know how to do this. Add glue. Smooth it out so it's evenly applied in a thin layer. Do the same on the other parts. And then wait till they are not wet anymore and stick them on. You know the drill. Until this point, all the edges are rather rough. So I use my rotary tool with the extension to make them rounder and more smooth. I put a sanding tip on the extension of the rotary tool and then I just sand it until I like the shape. I could do this without the carving in the beginning, but then I would have to sand off a lot of foam and there would be more dust in the air, and it would also wear out the sanding tips earlier. Of course, when you're doing this, you need to wear a mask and also safety glasses, because you don't want to get this stuff in your lungs and also not in your eyes, because they might seem small and not dangerous, but your lungs are made for air and really not for foam dust. And if it gets in your eyes, it hurts. Yeah, trust me, I've been there. I've been there. I also cleaned up the holes in the armor plates with the same sanding tip. and smooth it out the edges. As you can see, I have my vacuum cleaner right beside me. I keep it running as I'm sanding, so it will actually suck up some of the foam dust immediately, but not all of it. So I need to vacuum my workspace every now and then between working. And just keep sanding, just keep sanding. Okay, I'll take this moment to talk about my Instagram. Did you know I have an Instagram profile where I actually post every day, even multiple times a day, mostly about the cosplays that I'm creating at that moment. I also share photo shoot results and also kind of cool things, so be sure to follow me at Pretzel Cosplay on Instagram. You know you want it. Instagram's cool. We're still sanding, because that's our favorite thing to do. No, I don't really like this part, I don't enjoy it very much, but I do enjoy the result that it gives. Like, this is the fin for the back of Fishbones, and as you can see, it gets super smooth by sanding it. It really makes a difference, so you have to push through this. And after the sanding is done, the base shape is done! Yay! Congratulations! So now you know how you can make the base for Fishbones. I hope you enjoyed this video and stay tuned for the next one where I will show you how you can actually turn all that foam into Fishbones. Did you know that you can also support me on Patreon? The support on Patreon is really important because it helps me to keep making costumes and to make tutorials and do photo shoots, and also to keep making videos. So thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. The next video will be about how to cover the foam base with Worbla and make it extra sturdy and durable, and also add some really nice cool details. So watch that video as well. Thank you for watching this ultra long video.